Hey guys, it's Mars. Welcome back to Harpies in the Trees, where I review horror books with a supernatural focus. In today's video, we are doing a double installment of Indie Nightmares. And this is a series where I feature indie horror that is written by indie authors who are either independently published or self-published. So we have 8 books to talk about today. They are a huge just run of the gamut of like what, horror has to offer genre-wise. So I think there'll be something here for everybody. But first, I wanted to talk a little bit about a Stephen King book called The Dome. Did I say the dome? I meant Under the Dome. I got this in my last Abominable unboxing and I had never heard of it, but a few of you, actually more than a few of you, told me that this book was actually pretty great and that you enjoyed reading it a lot. And someone also told me that this is a rare Tesco publication, or a publication for Tesco, and that the cover doesn't look like a Stephen King cover because this is from the TV series. So I don't know if this will be on my list anytime soon. This feels like a winter read. I feel like big, fat, chunky books like this, I don't know, they just scream like long, cold, bleak, gray winter days. So maybe I'll get to this, but I definitely want to get to The Gunslinger first before I hit this up. But if you guys are wondering or you don't know about this book, definitely check it out. Before we jump into the video, be sure to like and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on these books. Have you read any of them? Are you going to pick any of these up? And if you are, all of the links to purchase these books are down in the description, so please check that out. It will definitely make the author's day if you pick up one of their books. And also, adding indie horror to your library is like really trending right now, so you should totally do it. And if you would like to get more videos from me related to horror books, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Before I start these videos, I always send a poll to my patrons on Patreon, and I ask them to pick the synopsis they think sounds the most interesting out of a group of blind synopses. They don't know who the author is or the title. They just have to read the synopsis and pick the one that they think should be featured first and also in this next episode, while the other ones will have to wait until a different time. So the one that they picked is called The Patience of a Dead Man. This is by Michael Clark, and this is a haunted house story, so I'm already sold. There's also a note here from the author, because I always ask, like, do you guys have any cool things and facts or whatever to say about your books? And they said, I lived in this house as a child. Pretty interesting. I wonder if there are any actual personal experiences or, it's just kind of something they riffed off of. But let's see what it's about. Tim Russell bet everything on a handyman's dream. A quaint but dilapidated farmhouse in New Hampshire. Newly single after a messy divorce, he plans to live in the house as he restores it for resale. To his horror, as soon as the papers are signed and his work starts, ghosts begin to appear. A bone-white little boy, a woman covered in flies. Tim can't afford to leave and lose it all, so he turns to his real estate agent, Holly Burns, to help him decide whether or not he has any shot at fixing this haunting problem. Can they solve the mystery before he loses his investment, or perhaps even his life? It's interesting that he goes to his real estate agent, because I think one of the things that I've learned about real estate agents, just in I've had a few friends who, bought houses and things, is that they definitely know the area, and they know the people, they know the rumors.
This whole place has endless secrets.
Probably the best person to ask is your real estate agent. So I think this sounds interesting. The woman covered in flies is a really interesting visual for me. I'm really into this. This sounds super cool to me. The next one is Hunger for Death. This is by Joshua Marsella. We're all pretty familiar with that name. We know Joshua. This is self-published under Cold Hands Press. This is 14 tales, so this is a short story collection of the macabre. Another one of my favorite things, the macabre. And it says a cosmic horror, paranormal, psychological horror, and supernatural Nice. A mother is willing to sacrifice it all to save her unborn child. A pair of fishermen reel in a catch they'll soon regret. And a mysterious puzzle holds an ancient secret. So those are just a few of the stories in there. I like things that have to do with the sea because it's just such a real mysterious thing in itself. So I would really love to read that story. The next one is Virgin Night by Christopher Robertson. This is a comedic horror, psychos, slashers, serial killers kind of thing. This author also wrote My Zombie Sweetheart and The October Society. The author has a note here and they say, Virgin Night is a love letter to teen slashers and late night comedies of the 90s. It features diverse characters tackling difficult themes through a fun cinematic lens. Before Valentine's Day, there is Virgin Night. In the picturesque town of Cherry Lake, the kids aren't all right. Neither is the centuries-old undead slasher that haunts the town, or the all-powerful megachurch with designs of the future. On February 13th, 1998, Virgin Night, these will collide, and the town of Cherry Lake will never be the same again. Virgin Night will take you back to when low-rises were cool, frosted tips were a thing, and getting laid was all that mattered. The next one is Cursed Legacy. This is by H. Everend. This is a gothic, paranormal, supernatural tale. And the author has also left a note saying that there is custom artwork done for this book. So I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of illustrations or plates or something. 4 families of one house, an ancient fiend scheming to devour them all. Learning the truth of a mysterious home their families have shared for years, 4 bloodlines come face to face with a frightening reality that soon leaves them haunted and hunted. A sinister force brews in the spaces between these walls, and hell will rise if ever he's allowed to have his way. Darkness climbing, no escape in sight. The helm, an ancient relic imbued with power, might just be their ticket to salvation until its eldritch forces backfire, digging them deeper into the grasp of the enemy. Treachery looms as evil weaves its way into the minds of the vulnerable. And while the menace seeks to divide and conquer, families are forced to sever odd bonds and sacrifice whatever or whoever they must to survive. Now, plunged into the heart of evil and strapped for time, embattled bloodlines seek and gather every magical defense they can acquire to stall the advance of their infernal adversary into the realms of men. But like them, their enemy is not alone, and his underlings are just as bloodthirsty as him.
Wow. It sounds kind of epic, actually.
Drop Dead in Pink. This is by Ryan Day. This is comedic horror, psychos, slashers, and serial killers yet again.
The chicest clique. The chicest clique. My God.
The chicest clique at the Agnes Billy Gates Academy needs a night of escapism. A curious castle nestled in the mountains seems the ideal party pad to get away from the burdens of family and teen angst. But nothing is ever as it seems. With an axe-wielding killer stalking the halls, the girls' best-laid plans soon become a mind-bending into terror. A Fig for All the Devils. This is by C.S. Fritz, and it is printed by Albatross Book Company. This is a supernatural story. An abused, grief-stricken, and impoverished Sonny has all but given up on life. That is, until he meets death by the way of the Grim Reaper. The Reaper, a junk food-loving, poetry-reading, cigarette-addicted entity, has no time to waste as he searches for a suitable successor who would become Death for the next millennium. By training the boy in the ways of death and dying, Reaper grooms his young apprentice, and through these suspenseful and horror-laced events, he unknowingly gives Sonny something he had never intended. Something to live for. Would you take the role of death for a millennium? Bloodlines 4 Tales of Familiar Fear. This is a horror anthology, and it's based around the theme of family. The contributing authors are Antony Frost, Carson Winter, Alex Wolfgang, and Christopher O'Halloran. There is a note here from the group, and it says, "We got together to do a collection of novelettes based on a throwaway conversation in an online book club. And it is Antony Frost's first story out there in the world. Congratulations. If you've ever dreaded a family dinner, felt terror at the blood pumping in your veins, if you've ever thought maybe the people you call kin just aren't quite right, Bloodlines will hold you in its thrall with its literary, daring, blood-soaked wit and taste for carnage. From quiet horror to caterwauling bloodshed, this quadruple feature is fun for the whole family.
I feel like the synopses this month are really good. I really appreciate them, the way they're written.
A trio of sisters takes turns sharing a migraine that challenges their pain tolerance and sanity. A man struggles with his inheritance when his absent father and namesake dies, leaving him with disturbing visions and an unwanting purpose. A young ghost watches a sinister family gathering, complete with a prettier, smarter replica of herself, then makes sure it's their last. Following the death of his mother, the eldest of 5 siblings must uncover the true nature of his family's strange, isolated existence. Apocalyptic event looms. This is where the family tree meets the family plot. This is Bloodlines. Stories all sound really good. Now, our last one on the list is Next Door. This is by Kimberly Davis Basso. It's a psychological and supernatural horror. And there's a note here from the author. It says, Next Door was called a superb collection in Locus Magazine's 2021 horror review. That's awesome. Congratulations. These are the stories of Next Door. In King of Cape Cod, a child finds a treasure on a bench, inviting tragedy into his family. La Stregna Ragna gives a new twist on an old recipe, while To the Mountaintop and Archives will have you rethinking your outdoor activities. Shimmer explores cultist devotion, while Chatbox, Drill, Moat, and Ink offer a glimpse into the hidden lives of ordinary people in your neighborhood. When Horses Cry visits a haunted city, and Moo visits the end of the world. Cul-de-sac is a suburban nightmare, and the little girl in The Deep End of the Pool is not at all what she seems. The 13 stories Next Door make one very unsettling place to visit, and just might make you wonder about your neighbors.
The cover artworks for this month, I feel like they're all really, really good. I just kind of I think they're all pretty aesthetic. Virgin Night's really fun because it has this movie poster thing going on. It's really nice. Hunger for Death is this really creepy still life that's just, I don't know, it has a lot of detail to it. It's very good, and the black background is just cool. Kind of Caravaggio-esque. Cursed Legacy and The Patience of a Dead Man, I mean, they're both
calling my name, those covers.
Those were the 8 books for this episode 9 of Indie Nightmares. If there's something here that you wanted to get, please check it out. Usually the indie books are very affordable, sometimes free. It just depends on what's going on, but definitely check it out. So that is it for me. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to take care of yourself, look out for each other, and I will talk to you next time.